Also in Aztec at San Juan Health Partners Family Medicine at 120 Llano Street. With nearly 20 tests available, there's an option for everyone. MyLabs, patient-ordered testing, a wellness service of San Juan Regional Medical Center. .32, it is Friday morning here on KSJE. You're listening to the Scott Michlin Morning Program. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us. A special good morning to our viewers who are watching us live on the KSJE Facebook page and YouTube channel. It's 47 degrees outside our studios right now at San Juan College, and winds are out of the east at 3 miles per hour. We're expecting a sunny and warm day today, 77 for a high in Farmington, 45 overnight. Maybe some morning sun tomorrow, but some increasing clouds on Saturday with a chance of showers tomorrow with a high of 74, 73, and sunshine on Sunday and 70 on Monday. But take a look next Thursday, Friday, temperatures into the 80s for the first time this season. So that's what we're looking at weather-wise here over the next couple of days. Change of topics this morning to a much more serious topic this morning, and that is the case of missing Indigenous women and men across our country. It is something that the state legislature has talked about in Santa Fe, and is something that is hitting very close to home for one local family, and they are joining me here this morning. And in our studio right now, Leila Mailman is here. She is the mother of Melanie James. And Leila, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
You bet. Great to have you here. Also joining me in the studio is Melissa James, who is Melanie James' sister. Melissa, welcome to you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And I appreciate both of you coming in to talk a little bit about this case, which the Farmington Police Department just put out information yesterday about the case, about your sister, about your daughter, Melanie, who has been missing now for how long?
She's been missing for 5 years now, since April 20th.
April 20th, 5 years ago.
Yes.
And so this is almost to the date of when she was last seen, and you have been looking for her and trying to find out anything you can about her ever since.
Yes.
And so talk to me a little bit about that, Leila, if you don't mind. I know it's going to be painful to talk about, but you've been searching and trying to keep her memory alive to find her, to bring her home to you. And what do we know about where she might be, who she was with when she was last seen? Can you give us any idea of what was going on 5 years ago when she disappeared?
Well, when I was working at Goodwill, she said she was going up on 20th Street and she was going to put in applications, and that was the last I saw of her.
Okay. And that was it? And this was about sometime during the day?
Yeah, 5 o'clock. She was supposed to meet me back at Goodwill.
Okay.
She didn't show up.
And she didn't come back?
Yeah.
And so in the days that followed, then obviously you were waiting to hear back from her, or where she went, or what happened, I suppose?
I started contacting some people that she knew and that knew her, and then nobody saw her.
Okay.
So
And then you went to the police at some point.
I went to the police department on about 4 days after and reported her missing.
I see. And tell me a little bit about that. What have the police been able to do? What have they not been able to do? Are you unhappy with what they've done? Or explain a little bit where things are, because here we are 5 years later.
Well, her case seems to be pushed from person to person. We started out with one person. He barely contacted us. Every time I called him, he was either out of the office, out to lunch, or at his son's baseball game. And next thing you know, I keep calling, and I tell him I found some tips. I don't know if it's true or not, if they can check on it. But I don't think they did, because I contacted Family Dollar, and they said nobody had came in to view a tape that she was seen in Family Dollar.
Okay.
And then
when was she seen? On that day, or days later, or when? Do you remember?
I think it was like almost 5-6 months later.
I see.
And
okay.
then,
and a local Family Dollar here?
Yeah, local
okay.
Family Dollar right down Main.
Okay.
And I asked the lady if anybody had come. She said nobody had come to view the tape.
Okay.
And
that's
so,
disappointing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is disappointing. And the next thing I know, I call again, and they say, oh, the officer that was, or the investigator that was handling the case had been moved up ranks. So they gave it to another investigator named Davin Bedoni. And we never met him. We got no phone calls or anything. And so I come across Facebook, and people are saying they saw her here, they saw her there. And that's when I found out that Heather was on the case.
Okay, another officer.
Another officer.
Okay.
So it seems like more or less I've been fighting with the police department more than...
Right.
Yeah, so everybody was just going, I don't know.
Right.
And it's really
And-
frustrating.
Understood. And we still don't know.
We still don't
The
know.
bottom line is we still don't know, right? And so here you are, and the family is having a event tomorrow. And talk to me a little bit about that. That is an event downtown at Orchard Plaza at the intersection of Main and Orchard, and it's a candlelight vigil.
Yes, we're going to have a candlelight vigil for say prayers, not only for my daughter Melanie, but for all missing, murdered Indigenous men, women, and children. And hopefully they'll bring some
It's hard to talk about, isn't it?
yes.
I understand.
It'll bring a little bit of more comfort to all the families that
To the families.
Yes.
Sure. Let me ask your daughter Melissa here too a little bit about this case. Melissa, what do you remember from that day when your sister went missing?
I remember seeing her. I was the last one who actually saw her. She was walking by a church on 30th and Butler, and she was walking with an unknown man, African American male. By the time that I turned around to see if she was still there, she was gone.
And that you were in your car.
Yes,
Right?
I was in a friend's car.
A friend's car, and then you asked them to turn around, and by the time they turned the car around and got back there, you didn't see her anymore.
Oh yes, I was driving my friend's car. I was taking care of stuff that day.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, but she was with another man.
Yes.
Had you ever seen that man before?
No, I've seen all of her friends. We're sisters. We're close. So
Right.
Yeah, I've never seen that man before.
Gotcha. And so it's really a mystery as to what happened 5 years ago, and nothing has been. Of course, you talk about people maybe have seen her or think they've seen her, but really no other strong, I guess, pieces of evidence that she has been seen around town. Is that kind of where things stand?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. And so, tell me a little bit about her. What do you remember most about your sister? What kind of person was she?
Just her being goofy the most, because there are some days like how my mom said it's hard. So we would always quote movie lines and references to life. Like if things were going bad, we'd remember a movie and quote it, and then we'd just start laughing and we're gonna be okay. So
Right.
yeah, just her goofiness. She was so silly.
And what types of things did she do? Did she work? Did she go to school?
Yeah, she worked. And for a while, she worked for a while.
Mhm.
I don't remember how long actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Leela, what types of work did she do?
Oh, she worked for Golden Corral. She also did some secretarial work for the missions, the Navajo missions.
Mm-hmm.
And she was looking for another job at that time, and she was also looking into college classes.
Okay.
So,
Like a typical young woman.
yes.
Because how old was she when she disappeared?
She was 21, 22.
21.
21, 20, early 20s.
Yeah, early 20s.
Okay. Okay. And so as we've talked about this case, and there are so many others like it, which is horrible and embarrassing to even have to admit, but there are many, unfortunately, other families like yours that are going through what you're going through.
Yes.
No answers, and these individuals, both men and women, as we've talked about, have just kind of disappeared almost without a trace, and the families are left wondering where they are, what's going on with the case, where are the police, how can we help, all those types of things, I suppose, right?
Yes. And I've had to have, I did several marches in Window Rock, Fort Defiance, Gallup, Santa Fe, and finally I got the Navajo Times to come in and start pressuring them. And they told me and the Navajo Times that they were supposed to call me once a month. I never got a call the whole time. And so I did another AIM march through Farmington, and for the same reasons, the Indigenous women, men, and children. And that's when we met other people that were in the same situation. And we also had the mayor of Aztec come, and he quoted off camera and everything that if it were a white person, they would exhaust all manpower and resources to locate that person.
And that's
straight from the mayor.
right. Mm-hmm. And that's tough to hear.
And that is tough to hear. It brings a lot of anger. It's like, may not be a white person, but it's my child, just like everybody else's child that's missing.
Of course. And it shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter what ethnicity, what color skin, what anything a person has if they've disappeared. But this is a big problem, as we've been hearing about, even nationwide, that there are a lot of indigenous women mostly, but also men who just disappear like this, kind of without anyone knowing what happened. And it sounds like your daughter was not the type of person that would just take off for days without letting you know where she was or making contact with you.
And she's not a shy person. She'll go up to somebody and say, "Can I use your phone?" And she knows where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not making sense right there at all.
Right.
Because she knows where Melissa lives, and she knows where I work, and it's just not making sense. And there's a lot of people out here that know her.
Right.
And nobody's seen her so far.
And nothing recently.
Nothing recently. I went to homeless shelters. I went to where they feed the homeless. I put flyers up there, and all I heard was I seen her a month ago or 2 months ago when I first started back in 2014.
Sure. And as the time grows longer that she's been missing, yet you still hold out hope that someone will know where she is or give you some information about what happened. Is that?
Yes, I hold a lot of hope in my heart because I know she's fine, and I just want to have her found.
Right.
You know.
Of course. And Melissa, what about for you? Again, for 5 years you've been wondering what happened to your sister.
Mm-hmm.
And so, do you have any theories? Do you have any thoughts about the man she was with when you saw her, or what was going on? I mean, you didn't recognize him, so some stranger to you that she was with.
Mm-hmm. Well, knowing my sister, she wouldn't really just go off with some stranger. She probably met him a few days ago or something. She was one to put her trust into those she saw worthy of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we are getting some comments on our Facebook page about the program bringing awareness to this issue, and so we're happy to do that and hope that you will share this interview on your social media networks and the pictures of the missing woman and what's been going on with this case, and of course the vigil, which is happening tomorrow, to let folks know about this, because there are unfortunately more than just your daughter and sister who are missing across this country.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's a big problem. And again, the vigil is going to be happening tomorrow. And again, it's down at Orchard Park in downtown Farmington. That's at the corner of Orchard and Main. And this is going to be happening from 1 to 3 p.m.,
Yes,
correct?
it will be.
And talk to me a little bit about planning for that. This is something you wanted to do for your daughter.
Yeah, we also got a person to come and pray for them all for safe return or closure for some people. We got the Family Crisis Center that's going to be there with the domestic violence brochures.
Right. Okay.
And
so
sexual assaults and
sexual assault services will be there as well.
They're also going to be there.
Another great local organization that helps in problems with domestic abuse and things like that.
Yes, and they're going to be there. Also, the MMIW, they're also going to attend. Miski Yahtzee, she's going to try to get there and give people more information on her, how to get about putting people on Facebook for her.
Right.
And that's how I got started, was with them.
Okay. Very good. Well, you've got a lot of people in your corner, it sounds like, that really want to help take up the fight and find out some answers for you and your family about what's been going on. And I think a lot of folks, in fact, a comment on our Facebook page just now said, a lot of people think it can't happen here, that a woman just can't disappear with no trace. And here we are having an example of that very thing that has happened. And we just don't know. I mean, if it's a kidnapping or something else or whatever the case may be, I suppose anything is possible.
Yes.
And that's what the problem is. We just don't know.
Yeah, we really don't know.
Right.
And then it's hard because, like I said, her case is just being thrown from one person to the next person.
Right.
And they're just going by what they're reading that the first person had written.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now, let me ask you a bit, because the police department did issue some information and some photos, the photos that we're showing on the air this morning, just yesterday, about this case. And so does that give you some hope, maybe, that if they give it some more attention now, that maybe a new clue will come forward, a new person maybe that remembers something will maybe come forward and talk to the police, since they are now putting a little bit more effort, it seems, into trying to find some answers and talking about this case again?
yeah, well, I'm really hoping that it will bring out a lot more,
Right. We can hope so.
It's sad that we have to come to the press and we have to go to the news stations in order to get some kind of effort of them trying
Right.
to locate her, not only her, other people
Sure, of course.
here in the Farmington area.
Right.
Because
But I suppose, to play devil's advocate, they would say that they probably only can do what they can do, or where the evidence leads them. If there's a witness or somebody else that comes forward, then they can follow that up. And so I would hope that maybe by giving it some more attention now, even 5 years later, there may be somebody that remembers something like you did, seeing her on the street with that other stranger that you had never seen before, and maybe someone will recognize who that was, or maybe he'll come forward, or who knows what could happen. But there's a lot of possibilities, I'm sure. Cases have been solved with much less
yeah,
evidence and things like that. And so we can hope so anyway. But there's information on the screen, everyone, about this missing persons case. Again, Melanie James, who's been missing now for 5 years, and the vigil will be tomorrow, downtown Farmington, and with candles and memories and a lot of other support groups there to help families like yours that are going through things like this.
yes. And I'm hoping it'll help in other cases too.
Right. Is there anything else you want to say to the people that have been helping you? I know there's folks that are even here with us this morning that have been
Yes.
helping and trying to get the word out to help folks remember your daughter and not let us forget about her and who she was.
Yeah, I'd like to thank them all because they've been a lot of help, especially Anne.
Right.
She's helped me out a lot, and so has Tisha
Mm-hmm.
and Miski. That they've been helping me out a lot and which ways to turn, and I just want my daughter back.
Of course.
Or
Well,
some word about where she's at. It's been too long, and it's really not like her at all to be missing. I mean, she is a friendly person. I mean, if somebody was thirsty and she'd go, oh, okay, here, go ahead, have my water. She's just a nice person. She's really considerate of other people, especially elderlies.
right.
She's got a lot of respect for them
Right.
and animals.
Right. Well, it's got to be difficult for a mom and a
Yes.
sister to not know, just the not knowing. I can't imagine what it is
Yeah.
like after 1 year, much less 5 years. And this
Yes.
is where we are. So thank you for sharing the story with us and letting us know a little bit more about Melanie. I wish I could have met her, and look forward to meeting her in the future. Thank you both very much.
All right,
Can
thank
I
you very
say
much.
something about
Yes.
the comment real quick?
Yeah, please do.
You said, or I seen the comment on the back there.
On the
behind
screen.
it. Yeah,
Mhm.
I said that you never know. You think that it wouldn't happen here.
That's
and
right.
I just want to, tell everybody, watch your kids, watch your siblings, and yourself. And there has been activities going on here. I seen stuff posted on Facebook about kidnappings on the south side of town, white vans cruising around trying to kidnap children and stuff. And this town is not getting safe at all anymore. And I just want to let people know that keep an eye out for your kids and your family members, and especially yourself, because this is hard, what we're going through.
Right.
It's very hard.
I can't imagine, as I said. So thank you for sharing that. And again, I think it's really good advice. And unfortunately, you two have lived through it. And it's the worst fear of any parent, any sibling. And then, as I said, the not knowing has to be just unfathomable. So thank you for sharing the story with us. And we hope to see a lot of folks downtown tomorrow at your event. So thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
You're very welcome. I'll be back with more, everyone, in just a moment. This is KSJE, and the time right now is 8:52.
In the White House, Jack Kennedy's wit helped win over a deeply divided electorate, still skeptical